What if you woke up tomorrow and all those things that used to annoy you, upset you, distract you, didn't matter anymore? The traffic jams, the rude comments, the arguments you can't win, the uncertainty about the future. What if none of that affected you? Now, I know that sounds like a dream, maybe a fantasy, even a bit unrealistic, right? But here's the truth. It's not a pipe dream. It's a philosophy that's been around for over 2,000 years, a secret weapon of the ancient Stoics. And once you learn how to use it, your life can change too. This power, this mental superpower, is called the Dichotomy of Control. And in this video, we're going to break it down from its origins with the great Stoic masters to how you can apply it immediately. So grab a pen and paper, because this is going to be a mental workout. We'll cover 5 key points. First, where does this concept come from? Second, we'll explore the inner circle of control. Third, we'll dive into the outer circle of control. Fourth, we'll discuss why this is so powerful. And fifth, how do we actually put this into practice? How do we live the dichotomy of control? Okay, now let's get into it. First, we need to see where this idea came from. Because if we understand the roots, we can grow deeper. The dichotomy of control has its roots in ancient Greece, Rome, and even earlier Eastern traditions. But for today, we'll focus on Stoicism and 2 key figures, Epicurus and Marcus Aurelius. Epictetus opens his famous manual, the Enchiridion, with these words: "Some things are in our control and others not." And he expands on this throughout the book. He teaches that only our opinions, decisions, and reactions are truly ours. Everything else is influenced by external factors like the weather, the economy, the actions of others. That's the outer circle, things we cannot control. He also says that things aren't bad by nature, but only when we think they are. When we confuse things within our control with things outside of it, that's when we suffer. To truly be free, we need to accept what's outside our control and focus our energy on what's inside. Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, echoes this sentiment in Meditations, his personal journal. He writes, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He reminds himself that while he might not be able to change what happens, he can change how he reacts to it. But you might be wondering, why should we care about this ancient philosophy? In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to feel like we're losing control. With notifications, political debates, and global events constantly bombarding us, it's tempting to try and control everything, to fix it, to improve it. But the more we try to control the uncontrollable, the more likely we are to feel overwhelmed, anxious, and stressed. That's why understanding the dichotomy of control is so crucial. It helps us direct our energy wisely, focus on what we can influence, and accept what we can't. It's a practical philosophy, a roadmap to peace in a chaotic world. Before we move on, if you're finding this helpful, please hit the like button. It really helps spread this wisdom to more people. Now, let's continue. Now that we know where this comes from and why it's important, let's talk about how it works. The dichotomy of control proposes that we divide our perception of reality into 2 circles, the inner circle and the outer circle. The inner circle represents the things we can control: our thoughts, our beliefs, our values, our choices, our actions. These are the things that are truly under our power. We can choose what to believe, how to respond, what habits to form, what effort to put into something. The power to shape these aspects of our lives is ours. The outer circle represents the things we cannot control: the weather, other people's opinions, economic conditions, natural disasters, the past, death. These things are beyond our influence. No matter how hard we try, We cannot directly control what happens in the outside world. We can't force people to behave a certain way, make the sun shine brighter, or prevent accidents. Once we grasp this distinction, our lives can change. By focusing on the inner circle, the things we can control, and accepting the things we can't, we find a sense of calm in the middle of the chaos. However, there's a catch. Sometimes it's not so clear which circle something belongs to. For example, our health is influenced by both our choices and uncontrollable factors. We can eat well and exercise, but illness or injury can still occur. Our happiness is influenced by our mindset, but is also affected by external circumstances. We can't control our emotions completely. They're affected by our thoughts and the world around us. These are the gray areas, the fuzzy edges of the dichotomy. While it's useful to categorize things into what we can and can't control, we need to be aware of these gray areas. Sometimes we convince ourselves that we have more influence than we do, leading to frustration and burnout. Other times, we might underestimate our influence, thinking we're powerless when we actually have more control than we realize. For instance, let's say someone spills coffee on you. You can't control that they spilled coffee, but you can control your reaction. Do you yell and create more chaos, or do you laugh it off and diffuse the situation? In that moment, you have a choice. The outer event is beyond your control, but your response is not. Another example. Imagine you're working on a project with colleagues. You put in the work, but the project doesn't succeed. You can't control your colleagues' efforts, but you can control whether you dwell on the failure or learn from it and pivot. In each of these scenarios, the key is to recognize what's within our circle of control and focus our energy there. It's not about being passive or giving up. It's about being proactive. Instead of wasting energy on things we can't change, we invest our mental and physical resources into what we can change: our beliefs, our habits, our responses. By doing so, we not only reduce stress and anxiety, but we also increase our ability to influence the world around us. Because when we focus on what we can control, we become more effective, more resilient, and more adaptable. And if you want to put this into practice, here are some ways to start. First, consider adopting a morning mindset check. When you wake up, quickly scan your thoughts. What's in my control today? What's not? This simple mental exercise sets the tone for the day, helping you stay focused and calm. Second, practice negative visualization. Take a few moments each day to imagine losing something precious: your health, your loved ones, your possessions. Not to dwell on negativity, but to remind yourself that nothing is truly yours to control completely. Everything can be taken away. This practice helps you appreciate what you have and prepares you mentally for potential setbacks. Third, use the let it be pause. When faced with a problem or setback, ask yourself, is this mine to control? If the answer is no, then let it go. Release the need to control the situation and accept what is happening. Finally, reflect at the end of the day. Take a few minutes each evening to review your actions and reactions. Ask yourself, did I focus on what I could control? This evening reflection, inspired by Marcus Aurelius, helps you become more aware of your tendency to dwell on things outside your control. It allows you to correct your focus for the following day. Remember, mastering the dichotomy of control isn't a one-time learning. It's a lifelong practice. Revisit these practices regularly, especially when you feel overwhelmed or anxious. In the words of Epictetus, remember, you are an actor in a play, the length of which is determined by the author. Play well the part given to you, but do not demand the script. I hope this was helpful. If you liked this video, please hit the like button. And if you're ready for more, watch this video next.